This is Off Planet Radio.
Welcome to Off Planet Radio. I'm Randy Moggins, and this is a special edition of Off Planet Radio. We're going to talk about a subject today that's very close to my heart and something that is now moving into the edge of consciousness of the general population, but it is still, I guess, very much a bleeding edge subject for most of the world. It is about breakthrough energy. And my guest today is going to talk to us in concert with an upcoming conference that's taking place in Hilversum, Holland, November 9th, 10th, and 11th. And this is an important conference. There's a lot of speakers. We'll talk a little bit about that. There is right now banners on the front page at offplanetradio.com where you can find more information about that. And I want to bring up my guests here on the line. And with me today is somebody that I've just gotten to meet. Fernando Vossa is here. Fernando, welcome to Off Planet Radio.
Randy, thank you so much for having me on Off Planet Radio. This is an incredible opportunity to share not only about this conference, but more about what is happening in the world of breakthrough energy, you know, what we know as free energy. And then the relationship between that technology and what's going on in the world of healing technology for the body, but also that cosmic awareness, that understanding that we're not alone on the planet and we're being assisted through this whole shift the planet is going through. Doesn't that sound interesting?
You tie together threads of just about everything we do on this show. And so it's an exciting topic. It's good to have you on. And maybe we get a little bit of your background first. You have a pretty diverse background, and all of it seems to flow into this same general realm of energy.
You know, at some point it's difficult to describe what we do because our feet are not only in several fields, but in several dimensions. So I consider myself a multidisciplinary creator. This is the point in a career or in a life where we disattach from the previous descriptions of what we studied in school or what we were told or what we do for a living. I combine a scientific understanding of energy, technology, science, in nature, and I relate that, believe it or not, to fine art, where we're making things beautiful and harmonious with our system, with our perceptual system, our audio system. And then I investigate areas that would be considered on the edge. You know how some people have to wear a parachute or take a bungee jump to get that adrenaline rush, or that they're exploring the edge, right?
Yeah, right.
We are consciousness pioneers. That means that I can jump out without a parachute into places where the traditional mind doesn't want to go. So let's see if you can put that together into one or two words of what I do, right?
Well, I really think that you are very synchronistic in your approach, and you come from a diverse background as well. You've been involved with major corporations like Microsoft, Sony, US West, GE Aerospace, and now you've moved into what I consider to be the alternative realm. Maybe tell us a little bit about the center of mass creation, because this seems to be, pardon the pun, the center of gravity for your creative endeavors right now.
The center of mass creation is a concept I developed. If I was going to have my dream organization where researchers like myself could feel at home and research with creative freedom as an artist, the center of mass creation is 12 laboratories integrated into one facility to accelerate the development of breakthrough energy technology, healing technology, and really connecting to what are our galactic neighbors doing and how we can work together. The labs are divided into the technology that I've seen as a common denominator in the research: water, crystal energy, light, sound resonance, and a deeper understanding of the consciousness that surrounds our bodies. There's one lab that's called biomorphics, which is the way we measure any aspect of our physiology, our mental and emotional bodies. Because, traditionally in computers we've developed the keyboard and the mouse and motion sensors. Mm-hmm. Then we have brainwave monitors, heart monitors. But when we talk about the chakra system, the Merkaba fields, and then thoughts, and then our spiritual nature, don't you think it would be great to have some interfaces for that?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think a lot of us have been exploring that over our lifetimes in this present age, Fernando.
So the real breakthrough with a concept like the center of mass creation, what would it be like to have a template of a facility that can be replicated around the world? So we could build one here in Europe, where I am at the moment, build one in the United States, South America, South Africa, and each center is where we bring together the minds, all these researchers working in their labs, the garages, the independents, who really are functioning outside of academia, who are functioning outside of the corporate machine or government structures. We really don't have very many options right now.
No, we don't have the resources of the very large corporations. We don't have government financing because the government, at least from my perspective, has been largely in concert with big corporations in suppressing the modern technologies and certainly the alternative technologies. So, yeah, I mean, you're talking about a vision that folds together all of these different disciplines in a very concise pattern.
One of the elements that I like is, when you go see a conference or a workshop or read a book on some edgy research or to get you introduced to some of these fringe concepts, I want to start from the end of the book, the end of the conference, into action and doing. I no longer want to go to technical conferences that really nothing happens. It was a fun joyride for my mind, but then at the end of the day, I'm not walking away transformed or with a solution in my hands that I can implement. So that's the next stage of what we're doing. It's time for action, right?
Absolutely.
How much have we covered in the field that reveals inverse gravity, teleportation, time quantum tunneling or time travel, as well as free energy? Everybody wants to see it, right? I want to see the prototypes. I want to touch them and know that this is real.
And I think where you come into the conversation with an interesting angle is that you're looking at this holistically. Many people were talking about free energy, low impact energy, cold fusion, and the various offshoots of Tesla type technology. But we haven't looked first where I think it's most important, which is within our own selves, our energetic body, our own quantum field. And the idea that we are, in fact, the movie The Matrix actually got this right in a dark way. We're batteries. We are energy generators, human beings who are part of an energy field and capacitors and conductors of energy. And you kind of fold that together in a way that I'd like to hear more about.
The understanding that we are victims to a dark force, we're born into a prison planet. We can explore that condition on the physical level. We already know that we have organizations that are controlling the energy of our world, they're controlling the health, and then they step up that into mental control, physical, spiritual. But here's the interesting vocabulary for me. You know how we have this higher self, this oversoul, that signed some type of karmic contracts to be incarnated into this world, right? And then we have a predisposition for a certain level of suffering and turmoil and anguish. And somehow the consciousness that we are right now talking, somehow this awake ego mind has no override on that. Or maybe it does. But what I'm saying, Randy, is I want to see the paperwork, I want to see the contracts, and I want to call out whatever my higher self is and say, I am done with this experience. Not only do I not want to get old, I don't want to get divorced, get fired from jobs, or have suffering. I want to see what is the edge of the reality we can influence. Could I get to the point where I snap my fingers and I wake up in a different world? That's where I'm taking the parachute off.
Yeah, what you're talking about is ultimately manifestation, and it's been a kind of distant concept for us. I myself have worked in different fields, meditation, energy work, and various disciplines where that is considered to be the ultimate goal. And I think for most of us, it's been a kind of less than approach in terms of we've not seen the realization of this, and yet we know it's possible.
Are we victims to our consciousness? That's what I'm wanting to ask. Does our consciousness, does the universal mind favor 25,000 years of human suffering? Is the value of that experience so important that we have to continue it? I'm asking some very tough questions now.
You are.
I'm saying no. My heart is saying no. We don't have to do it anymore.
One of the factors that I think kind of militates against the old paradigm is that we're seeing energies coming in. We know we're on the cusp of something right now, and I think it's like the hand reaching out into a distant horizon and attempting to grab this. Humanity as a whole needs to very quickly understand where we are in the concept of the timescape and begin to seize the opportunities that are being presented. It's very clear to me, Fernando, and I suspect you'll agree, that there are both energetics and beings who are willing to aid humanity once humanity begins to stir to what is going on in our consciousness and in our world around us.
I like to kind of just go a little bit further with that because I like what that's implying. Randy, we are the ascended masters. We are the creators of this universe.
Yes.
So there's no, I have had many different experiences with channeling, communications with disembodied spirits, and the interaction with extraterrestrials on a physical, mental, and spiritual level. And all of that phenomena points to the idea that we have no clue on who or what we are, Randy. And as soon as we walk our steps in full belief that this is in our hands, there is no extraterrestrials waiting to help us. There is no ascended masters waiting to help us. It is just us. We created those constructs to leverage something that's external. To me, it's more of that separation anxiety.
Thank you. You just walked right into my world. You want to speak to an ascended master?
Look in the mirror.
Well, that makes you less than. And see, that's where humanity's been. You used the word victim earlier, and I despise the word because it presents us as this hopelessly futile creature attempting to grasp for straws in the darkness. And really, I've closed my shows for many years saying the truth is out there, it's inside you. And I don't think people really stop to realize how important it is that we have to go inside ourselves first to externalize all of these things that we want to do.
Yes, and so if I wake up the next day, then I say, I'm going to work with the elements like water and crystals and magnetic fields as if they are conscious living entities that want to play with me. They want to support the vision of a free world, of healing humanity and the planet. So I don't see water as a scientific element or something that I drink. I also see it as a piece of consciousness that's awakening just like I am. So I don't need proof that this is real. You know, Dr. Emoto's famous crystal experiments. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I am designing a facility that already assumes all of that is true. No need to prove it. Just work with it. That's a jump. That's where I'm wanting to bring the researchers. And I'll give you an interesting example. I interface with the Searle Magnetics team developing the Searle effect generator, the work of Professor John Searle from England. And he was developing flying craft in the 50s and the 60s that were faster than Sputnik by multiple times. Are we going to sit there and try to knock all of this work and ridicule another Tesla? Or are we going to say, you've done your job. Thank you for proving that this is real. Let's work with the knowledge. One of the things that the Searle effect generator work, that research has done for me, is to help me see that magnetic fields are the same as light and they are the same as sound, which are the same as thoughts. So why don't we just go to the source and structure lattices of thought that can be expressed as fields of energy, and they produce photonic light. Let's just jump right into that, right? No need to, let's go back and reverse engineer all of that.
Take away the intermediary of all that, yes. The medium. Yeah.
Our bodies are prisms of light, so are magnetics. And we can tune to any spectrum, and they're directly tied to emotion and the manifestation of matter. The experiments that I've done, for example, developing my sonic Reiki technology for healing, showed me that when I integrate the crystal vibration energy and water and sound and some other modalities, we get what would look like magic. We are working with living miracles, Randy.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about the sonic Reiki. I'm very interested in that. I'm not a practitioner, but I've taken Reiki level 1 classes.
Sure.
Just to kind of get involved with it.
Anybody wants to see what a video of sonic Reiki looks like, they can go to YouTube and Google search on Fernando Vossa, Vossa. I have a channel, Vossa Media, and I have some lectures on the engines of mass creation. Sonic Reiki came about because I wanted, as an artist, to create an art installation for the energetic body, or our light body, with the assumption that our light body wants to dance and play and sing just as much as our physical body, right? Mm-hmm. So what would that look like? Well, one common element for me is the healing process. Because for me, healing is about harmonizing energy. It is not about repairing tissue or giving you some kind of fake drug that doesn't get to the source, doesn't get to the consciousness. I started theorizing, could I bring sound resonance, certain frequencies, not only to your ears, but to your entire physiology, at the same time overlay graphics on top of your body with a projector. So I took the massage table model, studied a little bit of, not a little bit, I'm talking years of study with different healing modalities. Traditional Reiki, massage, reflexology, cranial sacral, and a whole bunch of other ones. Tuning bowls, Tibet bowls, etc. It's taking the placebo effect, Randy, and blowing it up to be the treatment, right? Allopathic medicine just takes the placebo effect and throws it out the window, right? I treat it as the thing that I want to explode. So a patient lies down on the massage table, and I ask them in a meditative state. So I bring them down to a theta, almost alpha theta state. It's like an instant hypnotic state. And I ask them to visualize their body in front of them. And what would you say to your body? Such as, I love you, I forgive you for the pain that has come out of my life, And can you heal that joint that hurts me or that cancer that's flowing through me? So I record this, and then I play it back to the person through a piece of software that generates graphics, the geometry, fractal curves, flower of life, all those vortices in real time. And then I take the speaker that I developed and put it up against the body, and it's tipped with a polished crystal, kind of like the filter. Suddenly, the person feels the resonance through every bone in their body, up their spine, down their legs. The muscles resonate. So if I'm treating someone, you could place your hand on anywhere on their body and you feel the vibration going through. When we use massage implements, like tools to give us a massage, it's noise. It's actually hurting the body. It's like sticking your head and putting it next to an engine that's running. What I'm looking for is clean, coherent tones running through your body. So the Sonic Reiki system is a way to tie that entire loop in real time. It's like we're inserting software down to the DNA level, and then your body knows. It knows what you're trying to do. It's a long explanation, but I wanted to go a little deeper.
Yeah, no, that's actually very interesting that you're using sound in that way. The conduit for this, you say, is a crystal.
It's a combination of modalities. It is a magnetic coil that fits in your hand. It's packaged in a cylinder, and it's a technology that was developed to vibrate windows like on a store display. So you walk by, Macy's and on the street, and you see merchandise, and the window talks to you because the entire window becomes a speaker. I wanted a way to bring sound deep into your tissue, into your bones, down to the marrow from the surface. The other thing is I combined it with a crystal that's polished, so it's smooth on the surface, and then that's tied to a computer. And I use your body is the speaker.
Okay.
What the crystal does is it conditions the energy going through the piezoelectric effect in a way that is more harmonious and human, softer, you might say.
Are there specific frequencies that you are utilizing in this? In other words, we here in the West, we adopted this A440 tuning, which really is not optimal to the human system
the
at all.
ass kicker frequency, huh?
Yeah, exactly. It's actually not lining up with our energetic field well at all. Is there?
Well, I bring out first your own voice at the beginning of a treatment. That there's nothing purer than your own intention running through your body.
Yes.
Then I also, like every other platform that I create, it is like an Xbox of consciousness. You can program applications for it.
I like it already.
Go ahead.
No, I said I like that already.
It's a game box for consciousness. For me as an artist, I wanted to create performing art out of healing. I want people to stand around and watch a healer do their work while revealing the energy that they're influencing. I want to be able to see a masseuse or a Reiki practitioner or a free energy scientist, the interaction. What does that look like? I want magic goggles that I put on and I see the geometry and the energy, right? Mm-hmm. That's why I use a projector. And, our skin is translucent. So if you shine a light on your skin, your muscles, your cells are looking at what's coming through. Absolutely. It's a show for the... And by the way, I treat the brain as the entire body. I don't think your brain is sitting inside the coconut on your shoulders. Your brain is your entire skin. Your sense organs are all integrated. Do you agree?
I totally agree, yeah.
The nervous system, there is no separation of what is brain, what is heart, where's the intelligence. Your little pinky on your toe is just as enlightened as whatever's going on in your pineal gland. So that's also shifting the focus. And Sonic Reiki taught me that the same frequencies and light and experience that would heal someone is the same to create abundant energy. which is the same to interact with our cosmic family. We're working with the same intention.
So ultimately, the answers to what we call breakthrough energy don't lie in a single black box technology that's going to liberate us from the grid, does it?
Oh, well, there's an interesting model. Because as soon as we think, well, I just want a box that I can plug into my house and it gives me free electricity and I never have to pay a bill. How short-sighted of us to have that viewpoint. How about entering into an age where I can walk into my dwelling and it's starting to heal my body. It's infusing me with creativity and it's making me dream much bigger about who I am and what I'm about. Not to mention the light in your home should be coherent, clean light, not that noisy, crappy electricity we live with, but also it should be beautiful. What is this black box thing we're talking about? I want it to be a living art sculpture of energy. That's where, the breakthrough energy thinking comes into play. I don't want to power your frickin' toaster or your microwave or your television. I want to power your dreams, Randy.
Well, all of the technology that we presently have, the technology that came out of the 20th century, basically is locked into a hardware orientation. And it sounds to me like you're coming from a software orientation, at least from the standpoint of creating an environment. I mean, people who work in software understand the idea of an environment. You have a programming environment, you have a development environment, you have an environment within the box that sits in front of your face that sort of manages the information flow. So in a sense, what you're talking about is a complete immersion, a complete environment in which energy itself is just the catalyst for a larger scale of consciousness. Am I getting that?
Oh, let's go a little bit further, and I like the door you've opened, Randy. Why do we have to create a box in the first place? Why can't your body be the free energy device that powers your life?
Yeah, the box really isn't very natural, is it? It's got a lot of sharp edges.
Why is it that we have to create something external from us? When we look at our technology, like cars and buildings and electronics, they're all external from our humanity. You put yourself next to an iPhone, the iPhone has no clue who or what you are, and it's not self-aware. And it's ugly, in my opinion, because it is a dangerous, chemically based example of separation and this disconnection we have, right? Go to nature. See how nature builds technology. It's not separate. It's not external. It's not hard or cold. So I see in the future conscious technology being natural extensions of our body until eventually we can infuse our consciousness into one of our creations. So you can have, a closet full of bodies that you can wear. And I think that technology is coming. Or work with pure energy. Create constructs of energy, fields, for example, that I can step into. And then suddenly I'm surrounded by a virtual environment, which is not virtual, it's real. It's just taking me to another dimension. This whole concept of technology is so broken right now, Randy, that isn't it sad that we always have to create something artificial to get to the nature?
Yes. And I grew up with that mindset. Everything about my background in music, electronics, and software has to do with this externalized extensions, the extensions of our body. We always need to extend ourselves into the realm of hardware, into the realm of something artificial. That's why
I agree with you. I feel that scientists and engineers should have a curriculum of the humanities where they first become creative artists based on love and compassion. If all of our physicists and our engineering disciplines had a requirement of something that has to do with aesthetics and interfacing with people in an emotional, spiritual way, I think our intention for the technology would change. You know how doctors have to study ethics? I also believe they should study aesthetics. What is beauty? Because we're not going to get to artificial intelligence like vision systems or voice recognition until we touch the love of consciousness. And that's not going to be in the hardware.
Well, you raise an interesting point even with that, the idea that we're going to create augmented systems, let's say for blind people or for people who are hearing impaired, when in fact what you've stated previously, the body is actually complete and whole. There's systems that are shut down. There are things that need to be rewired, but we always go with the hardware approach. Why is that?
Because it's the separation and the duality aspect, and it's the empirical nature of science and medicine. We are taught that if I don't see it, I can't measure it, then it doesn't exist, or I don't want to deal with it, right?
Yeah.
What if we believe first in order to be able to see? We bring children into schools to teach them how to have faith and love and belief ahead of proof. I've described this phenomena that I call the burden of disbelief. You know how when you present your ideas and they say, well, prove it, this, for example, Keshe right now, in the Keshe Foundation, they're getting so much pressure to show proof of their claims, and they're getting rocks thrown at them. Whether they're actual or not, how about if we convert that fear and that distrust and disbelief into saying, what could we do to help Professor Searle or Keshe or any of our living geniuses to make it work, to make sure that what they're claiming can be done? This burden of disbelief is a disease. It's a cancer that infects the mind to say, well, if I don't see it, I don't believe it. Well, then you must be really lost, because you can't see love directly. You cannot see charity or healing. Does that mean it doesn't exist? Randy, I want to see it in the formulas in the math. I want to see it in the physics books. Because when we hire a physicist or a scientist or an engineer to build weapons, do you know that the intention to kill is programmed directly on the molecules of the machines? Mm-hmm. If you were to melt the metal that they use to make bombs, the molecular structure reflects hate and killing. And I don't want to even work on proving that. What I want to do is say, let's have scientists and engineers and corporations that build with love and compassion from the very beginning. Because the next generation of technology will not be weaponizable. We will not be able to make bombs out of love.
Yeah. This was something that one of the other speakers who will be in Holland with you, Ralph Ring, has talked about. The fact that the technology they developed in the late 60s and early 70s, the zero-gravity craft, were in fact incapable of being turned into weapons. And as a result of that, they were shut down and suppressed and threatened because this technology served no purpose to what we call the military-industrial complex.
And that militarized mind has such limitation. It's like you take a functioning human contributor and we turn them into machines. When I interface with the Black projects, when I worked on software development for the B-2 bomber, Randy, in the spreadsheets with the budgets, in the software code, what you see reflected in there is this cybernetic, cold, calculating machine that couldn't care less that we're killing humans with what we're doing. So the first time I saw a video showing, that those precision bombs, I broke down crying. I said, I'm building this. This is what God manifested on earth, a Fernando, to do this? So I did quit my job. What I can tell you is I love the Ralph Ring approach. Work with nature. the universal laws of the heart. And yes, I know that what I'm talking about sounds poetic and flowery, and most of the technical people will say, you're crazy.
But I'm going to stop you right there to say this. The poetic, intuitive, artistic aspect is exactly what needed to be married to the technological, engineering, mechanical side of this. I'm on the website to your VossaReiki.com website right now, and I'm looking at the paintings.
Is that even running anymore? I haven't even worked on that one in a while.
No, these paintings are incredible.
Thank you.
I landed here this morning when I was doing some background, and these paintings, everybody should look at these and realize that they're very energetic. They communicate a very vital aspect of what we're talking about. I'd like to be able to pull one of these pictures and somehow stream them into sound right now, because they speak to me. And that intuitive aspect is what has been, the intuitive right brain, holistic mind has been almost bred out of us with contempt by this present system. The educational system, the theological systems, the scientific, go on and on, name an institution. And this has been where I've been going for several years in my shows. I dealt with the fallout of people who were in black projects. I know these people. I've interviewed them. I've sat down and I've looked in their eyes. I've watched them cry real tears, and I've seen the pain that this system has inflicted on people. And it's a mission that I have to see that this system is disempowered and that a new system comes in that is harmonious with the flow of human well-being.
I'm so with you there, because the healing that has to take place is on so many levels. Because the war veterans that are coming back are young people that we're totally destroying by sending them to war is only one of the casualties from this entire madness. The beautiful minds that we use to propagate military might are also war veterans that need healing and redemption. I just shared with you a link to my art, and then that I'd be happy to put on our website, on your website. One of the things that this allowed me to do is to imprint the art with the knowledge of healing and compassion and the wisdom of how to generate energy. So my clients that have hired me for graphic design or branding or for prototyping new concepts, they have benefited from my love of transforming humanity. So when you look at some of these pictures, what do you see in there?
I see a flow. I see an energy that goes through them, and I see a humanity in how they're presented. This is not your standard symmetrical Madison Avenue corporate artwork by any means.
The gift of the generation that is here to change humanity is that the knowledge of how to transform this world is already imprinted inside of us. I don't have to go to a book to teach me the free energy frequencies. I am one of the free energy frequencies. I don't have to go to a teacher to let me know that I come from greatness, from Atlantis and Lemuria and Pleiadian ancestry. That's already inside of me. All I have to do is feel comfortable expressing it, right?
Yes.
So one of the areas that I feel blessed is not having fear to express that. And Randy, we are all battered and abused inside from our early experience. But now, when I get up to speak at a conference, or I am in a lab, or I'm visiting a military, I don't hold back, believe me, because behind me is my family, my mom, my dad, all my friends, and all of the people who don't have a voice. So I don't have the option of fear anymore. How could we fail, Randy, at shifting humanity with all the seeds that have been planted from 25,000 years ago? All of the suffering, all of the investment that's been made, right? So there is no holding back this. It is inevitable.
I guess one of the one of the questions I have, and one of the limitations that I'm still struggling with, is how we get to that place within the present economic system. Because the present economic system is a system of lack. It's a system of control. And it is a system that has been locked down by global elites through a banking system, which turns developers, scientists, and visionaries into beggars in this global market in order to be able to create. So how do we circumvent that? How do we get around it? What do we create in the place of this sick system?
That is a deep question, and you're touching me right now with just asking it. I have my down days, and I rant with my friends. They've been an amazing support system because, yeah, some days, Randy, I can't even buy lunch some days. And when people see my work and all the things I'm involved in, they think, oh, Fernando must be a millionaire. People like Jason Vervelli or some of these other researchers, these guys must be just rolling in it with everything they do. We are right now at that threshold where, as the old system is collapsing, the new requirements on your resume are going to be about consciousness. They're going to be about your knowledge of esoteric things. Everything we think is fringe, edgy, para-nothing, whatever, you better be playing with that right now, because the age that is coming is going to be the platform for all of us to play. And the approach that helps me is this. Something in the world, in the universe, wants me to be here because I still wake up every morning, right? A few years ago, I asked to be taken off this planet. I sincerely, with all my heart, Randy, said, I'm 47 now, and right now I'm 48, but back when I did this, I had just turned 47. I said, I'm done. And I used the F word, F the world,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
I can't even get a job. If I go to a university, they think everything about me is an insult to what they do. I don't know. I really was despondent on that. But then I wake up the next day and I'm still here, right? So I said, okay, I'm going to reinvent myself. I'm going to reinvent what I'm doing. And really, I stopped caring completely about how crazy my Facebook page looks,
Yeah.
all of the stuff that comes out of my mouth. I stopped.
Yeah, you
really
do just basically get to the place where you say, and I'll use it, fuck it.
I did. I said fuck the world so many times.
You just need, because at that point, there's a release. And I felt it too. I felt it too, because I, for years, kind of hid behind this partition that said, this is acceptable, this isn't. You can talk about this, but don't go that far. And finally, there came a place when you are staring it straight in the eyes, and you're going, hey, if I don't deal with this, who's going to deal with it? Who's going to talk about this? Who's going to put this information out there? And there's an energy that comes from it.
What I found on the other side, Randy, is this liberation and empowerment. Every time I need a solution, I need to know how to build something. And I'll give you an example. A while ago, I designed a concept, which I call the Vossa projection crystal. And I have pictures of it on my Facebook. The idea is to hold a crystal in your hand, and it's powered by your body. And when you go to sleep at night, it records your dreams. And the next day, you can project them on the wall and show them to your friends. And this is what I dreamt about. But it also docks with other technology I've developed. It is a technology that, as soon as I think of how to do it, all of the answers come to me that I could almost go to Home Depot and pick up the parts. That's how beautiful it is when you open up to the possibilities. So all of the technology that I've designed, and I'm going to pass you a link in a minute so you can post it for people, is very doable. And it's doable with off-the-shelf technology. You almost don't have to invent anything. The biggest detriment that I found is the size of our, and I don't have a necessarily word for it, but how big is your brain pan to hold big ideas that you could believe in them? And I'll give you an example. When you tell people, do you believe in a world without money? They say, no, money is necessary, money is not the evil, blah, blah, blah. That wasn't the question. The question is, could you hold in your mind the frequency of a world without money and believe that it's true? It can be real. And the answer is most people cannot, because their brain pan, the conditioning, the cellular memory, whatever, won't let them hold that idea. I'll tell you what's in my consciousness, Randy. A world with no wars anywhere. A world where we throw weapons away because we can't even, they're so disgusting, we won't want to hold them.
Yeah, yeah.
To me, I don't believe that BS that humans are naturally violent. That's our human nature. That is such BS for me. That's not part of my consciousness. In my consciousness, we are tied to creation, and we're going to be invited by ourselves to explore the universe. In my reality, we've gone beyond free energy in a very, very short time into free consciousness. Those things help me think. How are we going to teach kids to think freely? We don't even teach our kids to dream, do we?
I do.
In school, we beat it out of them.
I do, but I don't think most people do. No. Mm-hmm. No, I think. But on the other hand, what I see in the current generation, the young generation, my children and those being born now, are that there's an innate response to the currents that are going through the world. They sense something. If we don't kill that spirit in them, they will be the generation which intuitively flows toward all the things that we've been talking about. And that's probably, in my mind, the biggest goal is to begin now channeling this energy, removing these barriers, and building the idea that we are complete and total creators.
Oh, yeah. So if you look at that link I just sent you, which we're going to post, these are Vossa design concepts. And one of them is something I call the Hypercube Resonator. It's like the first thing you see. This is a virtual, what would look like a virtual reality cave, but it's actually a portal into another dimension. When you step in there, you're looking through a window into another world. I wanted to be able to have a platform. This is like the game box that you can step inside of. Where we're going to teach teleportation and mental telepathy and telekinesis and astral travel. I wanted to design the system to do that. Now, I know that we don't really need hardware for any of this, but I also see that it's fun to build these bridges to have that continuity, so it invites more people to play, right? Mm-hmm. So the hardware and concepts that you see in this are about bridging so our brain pan can handle the bigger ideas, that we can believe that we can step into a world of abundant breakthrough energy, that we can feel comfortable designing things that are completely outside of what we were taught in school. I mean, for example, when I hear that there are groups of beings who design what look like virtual reality environments for humans, and they barter them across the solar system, and there are implants on this planet where you can step into one of their virtual worlds, and we don't even notice it. I want to be one of those guys, right? I want to talk to them and say, hey, I have some other virtual worlds I want to build. I had a near-death experience when I was 8, and I was taken on a journey from Earth through the sun into the center of the galaxy. And then I was shown where I actually reside in our local universe. As a galaxy, this energy told me this is what each human is, a walking galaxy of billions of stars in each body, right?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
That should be accessible to us in our waking state. And I'm suggesting we can practice by simulating it with technology until we believe that it can be done. Mm-hmm. Fun, huh?
Yeah, and see, this builds the possibility. I think you probably know, as I do, that there are portals around us. There are ways to step into hyperspace when we liberate ourselves from this monkey brain that we walk around with and I've experienced that. And so for me, a technology that would enable people to do that would be incredible, because it would be a training tool for really actually being able to access these states, access the energy fields, and to literally be able to walk in and out of different hyperdimensional portals. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to share with you a little bit about the conference that I'm going to be in Hilversum, Holland, in November 9 through 11. The program is broken up into 3 days: the science on Friday, the implications Saturday, and the future. And my talk is right in the middle. It's like the 0 point, 2012 of the conference. And I'm going to be talking about the art and science of conscious creation. What is the methodology to create consciously? And what would it look like to have a physics and a mathematics of creation at our fingertips, right? Mm-hmm. What are the tools to tap into the consciousness of all the elements so we can build a whole new technology that is just an extension of our bodies? So in that talk, I'm going to go through, it is the workshop of what it is to create consciously. And how do we marry spirituality and science once and for all? It's time to bring them together, don't you think?
I think it is for the average person, yeah. I think that's a distinction that's been hardwired into us. I don't see it anymore personally. But
So I want to invite our listeners to check out our website, globalbem, that's globalbem.com. And if you're not able to attend the conference, donate a ticket. Become a personal sponsor. Let us know that this is real for you and you really want it to happen. If you donate a ticket back to the organization, we can invite students, other individuals who can't make it because of financial reasons. But I want it to be an imperative, Randy, just like I learned in Buddhism that we got to meditate like your hair is on fire, look for enlightenment like it's the only thing there is to do. I'm kind of disgusted that people line up for days to get a rock concert ticket or the latest iPad, and they couldn't care less about free energy. So I want to invert that somehow so people feel it is the priority.
Yeah, this conference is very exciting. I wish I was going to attend. Unfortunately, I didn't find out about it soon enough to be able to plan my time, but you have there's a very exciting roster of speakers there, including, we mentioned Ralph Ring earlier, yourself, good friend of mine.
Brooks Agnew,
yes.
Russell Anderson from Cyril Magnetics. Brooks is going to talk to us not only about solar mass ejections, but he's also going to share a little bit about his project to find the entrance to the center of the Earth.
Yes, I've interviewed
one of the
Brooks
poles
before. Yeah. Yes.
We have a breakdown in the conference that makes it very accessible. So you're not going to get bogged down with just technology. What are the financial implications and political implications of breakthrough technology? How are we going to put together the infrastructure for funding and for getting prototypes out to the world, right? I recently went to South Africa, and I'm scheduled to go there again in 2 weeks to look at sustainability options for simple things like clean water and food and housing. To me, that's free energy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. On a continent that most needs that.
How do we unfold this is really the question we're putting out to our entire conference. This is a problem-solving gathering. And we're going to be looking at real implementations, real solutions that we come up with as a group.
Yeah, this is an exciting time for the world right now. We have the opportunity to step across the threshold that I think maybe only occurs in cycles of time that we've not consciously remembered. And this conference, looking at the lineup and looking at the goals that were outlined for the conference, to me is exciting because, like you, I wanted to make a statement to the world. I want this to be an exclamation point that this is going to come. It's going to come regardless of the so-called cabal out there who think they run the world but are rapidly running out of their own fuel right now.
Oh, yes. And we want to combine forces. For example, we just got a beautiful supportive message from Foster Gamble from the Thrive movement, and those researchers around the world that are not able to attend, they've been slowly giving us their support by way of a video, an audio commentary, or by publishing this conference through their channels, through their networks.
And that's exactly what we're going to do. This interview is going to go out as quickly as I can get it produced. It's going to be on our website. It's going to be on YouTube, and I will do everything I can to get the word out so that we can amass support. If listeners out there can't do anything else, we need to be psychically linked to this. We need to send it energy. We need to support it, and we need to boost the consciousness of humanity right now in aligning with these goals, because this is about the future of humanity and about the future of human beingness in terms of how we are going to live our lives in the near future.
Oh, yes. Now, around this conference are also larger plans, like I said, to build a facility, the Center of Mass Creation, to implement some prototyping in other countries, like Mexico, South America, Africa. I want to look at opportunities for us to do this in India, and obviously my home, the United States. So I am seeing that the threshold for this year for us is this kind of conference. I haven't seen a conference like this happening anywhere on the planet at the moment.
No, and I think that the conference by itself, that's just the galvanizing force. I want to see what you do spread out to the edges of the planet and begin to really tap into the consciousness in a real way. So what I would like to do, in addition to getting this audio out today, is invite you back after the conference at some point, and maybe we can talk about some of the interactions you have. I hope to have some interviews scheduled as well with some of the other people who are going to be there or will have been there by the time I talk to them. And let's reverberate this. Let's put this out there, and then really kick it up and get an awareness level that people are going to talk about this, because that's an important imprint.
And each of the speakers brings such an interesting solution to the
yes, absolutely.
History, technology, and future.
It's an exciting time, and I really thank you, Fernando, for coming on today, for taking the time to do this show so that we can kind of slam this out and kick up awareness. I sort of had short notice on doing this, but we'll work very quickly to get it out to people. And I wish you well and all of the participants there. I suspect that there's going to be some fascinating interactions behind the scenes. And I think that the collected brain trust, the collected intentional will of the people united there is probably going to be a force to be dealt with in years to come.
Thank you, Randy. And it's been an honor for me to be on Off Planet Radio, to reach this audience. I'm sending love vibrations everywhere for everybody who is listening and tuning in.
Thanks, Fernando. Anyway, we're going to post a bunch of information, a bunch of links on this, and your assignment is to go to the websites, look at this, and then let your inner self, your higher source, the one within you that knows, speak to you on what you will do with this information. I'm Randy Moggins. This is Off Planet Radio. The truth is out there. It's inside of you. Keep looking for it.
This is Off Planet Radio.